Good morning, everyone. It's Lee Henson, President, Founder of AgileDad, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Standup. So without any further ado, let's get started. It's part two. Time for part two of our 12 coaching techniques that are simple and easy to apply that are going to help you become a better Agile coach and a better Scrum Master. And once again, I've got 4 really good ones for you today. So I'm going to jump right in and get started. The 5th technique that I'd like to speak to you about. Now, just a reminder, if you didn't listen to the first 4, you can always go back and listen to yesterday's podcast episode, and you'll get the first 4 coaching techniques. Coming in at number 5 today, this one is Pessimize. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why would you be pessimistic, right? But occasionally, the end recipient that you're coaching becomes fixated on fear of this terrible outcome that dominates all their thoughts. We're all going to die. We're going to lose our biggest customer. The world's going to end, right? And while in very rare occasions that may be true, I don't think they take the time to explore the more likely scenario of what will really happen if something goes wrong. You know, and people hate to hear this question, but sometimes I really have to sit them down and ask, what is the absolute worst thing that could happen? What is the very worst thing that can happen if we go with this option? And I think that sometimes they don't think it through, right? And when they do think it through, it helps them understand that, hey, it might not be that bad after all. This is a really, really good technique to demonstrate their resilience and problem solving skills, right? It's a good opportunity for you to really sit down with them and help them understand and see things through a different lens. Because sometimes once they understand the absolute worst something can be, it makes it easier for them to fixate on all the positive things that could come from it as well. So I think sometimes that's a great compromise in a way. Even though it sounds weird on the surface, it's actually something that's very powerful. Coming in at number 6, list the steps or step by step. When someone's considering a huge change, right? I like to identify the gap between the current reality to the future that might seem really far away. Sometimes it's better for you to sit down with them and do grow. This is a technique where you're asking them, what is their goal? What is their reality? What options or opportunities do we have? And what will we commit to do? And identifying the first step oftentimes is just the biggest challenge for the client. So I think it's important for you to stop them and say, okay, so even if you don't use grow formally, you can always stop and just say, tell me step by step what you're planning to do, or tell me step by step how you might address this, or even pause and say, okay, I think I understand what you're saying, but just to make sure I'm perfectly clear, what's step 1? And I think that sometimes when they tell you step 1 and they say it out loud, they'll either realize, hey, that's right what I meant, and we're right on track and we're moving in the right direction. Or they might say, ooh, that's not quite what I was thinking. And they might realize that what they were thinking may not be the best idea or solution for the problem that they're facing. So I think going through and physically listing the steps is a good way for people to realize where they are in their journey, where their challenges, and help them gather alternatives so that they can stay focused and have a clear point of focus. Yeah. So the next one, I promised one of my favorites in each of the 3 batches. This is the one. Coming in at number 7 is be the cheerleader, be the voice. Don't be afraid, right? The truth is, change is hard, period. And people experience setbacks when they're trying to achieve their goals. I know my weight loss journey, I've had several days where I've gained a pound or even gained 2 pounds. There was one week where I was so angry or so upset because I gained 4 pounds in a week. And I looked at myself and I said, I'm not eating that much more food or any more food, really. I said, what's making me gain weight? But then I realized that I was working out a lot more and I was doing more strength training and resistance training. And I realized that over time, that weight was going to come off. But that was my body's response to, hey, you're putting us through a lot of strain right now. Let's figure things out. So sometimes your body can tell you what's up. The question is, can your mind tell you what's up in the very same way? Because when you're exercising your mind and you're doing things, clients are going to see that some things are going to work very well swimmingly and they're going to get excited and they're going to hit this emotional high, but then eventually they're going to hit a wall. It's true. And when they're frustrated and they feel like giving up and they're saying Agile's not working, or, this coaching has benefited us for so long, but now all of a sudden it hit a wall, right? It's your responsibility to take charge, to be the person holding the torch at the end of the tunnel and say, you can do it. You need to be that cheerleader. You need to motivate people. And I often tell my classes, tell us something motivational, right? And I always joke, I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Thank you, Whitney. No, but I think this problem can be solved. And I think the best way to do this is to tell them, and that's where I was going with this. This problem can be solved. This is something that we can solve. This is something that you can tackle, right? I know you have the capabilities within you to resolve this. I know you can do it. And then be silent for a minute and let them flame back to you and tell you what they think, their options are, where they think they stand. And this technique with family members works really well too. If you just show that you have faith in them, show that you trust in their ability to achieve things, show that you support them no matter what the problem. And oftentimes they'll be very appreciative as a result. And then coming in at number 8 to round things off for today, I call this one, uh, you know, the third party opinion or the second opinion, right? Sometimes the client just needs help stepping outside the box to see things or consider different interpretations. So sometimes I'll say, all right, imagine, if you will, right, how if we recorded this on a videotape, how your actions or how your words or how what you're saying might appear to someone else. Would it be disheartening to an objective outsider? What would they think? Um, Overall, it's just a good technique for people to consider alternative interpretations. I used this one a lot when I was working in employment services. So I helped a large church denomination with employment services. And one of the things that we used to do is we would interview people, but then we would, for a job potentially, and we would record those interviews and let them have the recording of the interviews so they can watch themselves in an interview. And we would ask that person after watching themselves, would you hire that person that was just interviewed? And you'd be surprised how many times people would watch their interview and they'd be like, oh, wow, no, I wouldn't hire that person. I'd have to change this or that or the other, et cetera. So I think it's just really interesting that, if you asked a question, what would an objective, neutral third party say about the situation that you're in your role right now, if they saw you and the way you reacted to that? I think sometimes that's going to give you the answer that you're looking for, that it's not always just straightforward and crystal clear until you can see it from the other side. So I think it's important for us to visit this from both sides and be able to have that second opinion mindset. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that these techniques tie in well with the first 4 techniques. So I ask you, as always, if you have friends, family, relatives, coworkers that need to listen to the Daily Stand-Up podcast, please refer them to our podcast. We love to see new subscribers. We love to hear your feedback. And most importantly, we love to hear your ideas. So if you have an idea for an episode for the Daily Stand-Up, feel free to email us at learnmore@agiledad.com. And as always, if you want to learn more about this topic or any other, visit agiledad.com. We got lots of really, really cool topics there that you can learn about, both in the podcast and for free available on the website. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. We'll see you soon.